So let it be written. So let it be done.
What's going on, underdogs? It's the Underdog Research Channel. I'm so happy to be here. Let me make sure we're all good. I hope everything is going great. I have been trying to get this research out to you since last week. It has been crazy. Everything that could go wrong has went wrong. I can't get this research out to you. I am happy, though, that I'm here today to do that. I hope everyone's great. Let me get right into it. Plume Token. Very first series, I told you about this project. No one was talking about it. Still, no one's talking about it. But lots of people in the institutional side know about it. How do I know that? Because there's millions upon millions of dollars that has been poured into this project. Now, what is it? The 5,000 overview. For those who've never heard of Plume Token, I'm going to give it to you in 15 seconds. If you think about the thing that you keep hearing about in the news, real world assets, what does that mean? That means you take something that you normally don't get something from and you make value of it. What do I mean by that? So let's say you have a house, and let's say that house, you have $100,000 house. I don't know where you got a $100,000 house from, but just stick with me for this conversation. And let's say you just got in that house and you was in there for 1 year. And let's say during the course of that 1 year, you paid $1,000 per month for your mortgage. And still, I don't know where you're living in America for a $100,000 house and a $1,000 a month mortgage, but still stay with Underdog. And at the end of the year, you got $12,000 that you have invested in this $100,000 house. What's left? Well, we know that you have a mortgage you have to pay on it, but you did put $12,000 on this house. So if you think about it, you have ownership of this house to $12,000 worth. Now, let's say you was to divide that $100,000 into the $12,000 that you paid. It would tell you the percentage of ownership you have in that house. Now, this is what a real world asset would do in that scenario. You take a real world asset, you would say, let's say in that instance, you own 12% of that house. You could take that 12% and you can go to a company like BlackRock or Hampton Lane. And you could say, company, I normally wouldn't be able to get anything out of this, and I don't want to put another mortgage on this house. So what I'm asking you to do is look at the fact that I paid $12,000 on this house, and I want to get a loan or something back from it. I want to invest this $12,000 and make it equity. Can you tokenize that for me? Is there a system you have that you can give me value for what I paid on that house? And so this big institutional investor says, I got you. I tell you what I'm going to do. Since your house has 12 payments of it, 12 months, and you own 12% of it, this is how we're going to raise money. We're going to take 1% of the 12% you own, and we're going to break that down in small itty-bitty pieces, and we're going to call that tokenization. And that 1%, we're going to invest in the market. And you live in a nice area, in a nice place, and there's a lot of people who are not homeowners or real estate people who are in houses. And since you don't really own your house outright, what we'll do is we'll let them take that little 1% and we'll say, listen, this house is in a good location. You take this 1%, for every dollar you spend, we will promise to give you back 10% yield on that dollar. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking about it, you put your money in the bank account, it don't give you any yield. You put your money in the bank account, you don't get anything from it but a couple of cents. So you think about it like, I was going to keep my money in the bank account anyway. So you're like, I'll take you up on that offer. So then you take that money as the investor and you go to that place like BlackRock or Hampton Lane and you give them your money and they give you something back. They'll give you these tokens. And those tokens are yield-based tokens. And you put them in your wallet or you hold them somewhere, and that will be mature once you reach the terms of that agreement, whether it's 6 months, 3 months, 12 months. Now, that process I told you is how RWAs work on a most basic level. A stable coin is an RWA. If you think about it, you take something of value, your money, your fiat, You put it into an exchange. That exchange takes that money and it gives you back USDC. It gives you back something that is of stable value. And then it says you want to stake it, and you take that stake and you invest that stake, and they give you back APR. They give you back yield. That is what we're talking about here. Now, Plume is the number one in this space globally, and they launched this year. Plume takes various RWAs. You can apply this mentality, this logic to anything that may not have been liquid before. Liquid meaning monetarily liquid. And you can create value. We could take interest payments. You could take loans, debts. That is how you have to look at RWAs. Now, Plume Token is a very unique project because although institutional investors are aware or are becoming even more aware of this, retail investors, not so much. But it's the institutional investors who are the ones who put the biggest amount of money because they pull the money together, and we want to find where the money is going. And that is the conversation today. It's going to be a hard one to keep up with. This is only one very little thing that happened. It's important because as we look at this conversation I'm going to give you, there's two different types of information you can get. If I'm going to be very basic, you can get hype information that is only as good as technical analysis. And that means it's good for that minute, it's good for that hour, it's good for that day, it's good for that week, and maybe good for that month, but likely not. Or you can get evergreen content. I promise you that Plume will likely be the same today as it will be 3 years from now. Bitcoin is the same as it was in 2010 as it is now. There might be people building on top of it, but Bitcoin's still the same. That's what's the advantage of my platform is you have an opportunity to not just learn about something, but to apply that logic to other things. Now, what's that conversation about? Well, let's show you right now. Let's pull this up so you can see it. Plume Token is stacking the Dinero. Now, I played off of words over here, but what am I talking about? Plume Token announced that they acquired another cryptocurrency blockchain company called Dinero. Now, Plume to acquire Dinero, accelerating institutional ETH, SOL, and BTC expansion. Now, this was discussed recently. This announcement came out. And the thing that's so interesting about it is Dinero has already been in the market. Now, so the question you have to ask yourself when we're thinking about these partnerships and we think about acquiring, if we take the time to really find out what does the thing do and what does this mean? Well, let's talk about this announcement. So talking about this announcement, I'm going to pull this up for you. Don't read it to you because you may not have seen this before. So as we see here, we have Dinero crypto project. What is it? Who is it? It's built on ETH's fastest growing liquid staking protocol. They specialize in liquid staking tokens, LSTs, across multiple blockchains, not just Ethereum, but also Solana, Bitcoin, and more. Now, Dinero, the governance token. What else we need to find out? Plume Network, a blockchain platform focused on bringing these real-world assets and institutional finance on chain, is acquiring Dinero. They didn't say partner, they say acquiring. The deal expands Plume's reach into Ethereum, Solana, and Bitcoin's institutional staking and yield products. At the same time, Plume has also earned SEC approval as a registered transfer agent, meaning it can legally manage digital securities and shareholder records in the US, a big compliance milestone. OMG. Why am I not surprised? Now, you know good and well, if you've been rocking with Underdog Research Channel, you know I told you this was going to happen last year in 2024. And if you don't believe that it was going to happen, if you don't believe me for some reason, let's go down memory lane real quick. And I'm going to bring up why this is important and what you need to know. So let me show you this quick little video. See if you remember this. The billionaire blueprint of Swift Coin has been revealed. Check my research, folks. I gave you information that no one else has talked about. I'm not talking about price action of today. I'm talking about a phenomenal potential of tomorrow. Do you want to be a part of it? I know that I'm going to go with individuals such as Alan Howard, who made billions of dollars when the market was crashing. Bill Ackman, hedge fund billionaire. Tim Draper, billionaire. Yale Gao, Yat Siu, Andrew Yang, Jonas Broas, billionaires. Apparently, they see something in MetaPath and SwiftCoin that others don't see yet, but they will. Come on now. I know you know. I told you this is going to happen, but you might be just tuning in. I don't know what happened today, but I was in there minding my own Underdog Research business. And I didn't say business, but business. You got to put an extra is with it. And all of a sudden, I started getting notifications. And I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? And I'm looking, and YouTube is notifying me. You know what it's saying? It went up from, you have 50 subscribers, then 100, then 300, then 400, then 500, then 550. And this was in less than 2 hours. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, what is going on? Why now? Why are so many people jumping in and looking at my platform? And so I open up the analytical part of my platform. And what are they looking at? You know what they're looking at? They're looking at the billionaire blueprint. They're looking at the zero knowledge profits. They, the public, you underdogs, you already were here. You was here 1 year before the general public found this channel and said, hey, there's something about this. There's something happening. How's he able to see the future? I'm not seeing the future. What I'm doing is literally just giving you the researchable facts and breaking it down in a way that you can follow along with me instead of hyping you up. And these things take time to develop. Let me bring this to a closure because I want to make sure that you captured all the information I provided. And, you know, we want to be in there. Sometimes we have to move. Sometimes we got to learn to stay. I always think about those lions and you see them in the brush and you see the little thing that's an animal of prey and it doesn't stay still. It gets nervous and it starts running and it runs too quickly and the lion sees it and he devours it. I think that about the market. I don't pay so much attention about the ups and downs of technical analysis. I pay attention to the research. So what does the research tell you here? Plume Token is doing something big and they're moving differently. You need to pay attention. Check out my upcoming videos on Plume and other projects and make sure you become an Underdog Research member by clicking join or the QR code, depending if you see it right there for you, and you can get in the membership. And if you're at the Underdog Research Analyst level, then you get exclusive access to these videos and other benefits. Hope that you are paying attention. Take care.